just want to thank everybody for watching Choose Your Weapon every single week. We're on our Texas series, and this week we're going after Aoudad. I'm excited. I mean, these are animals and species that we normally wouldn't be able to hunt, but in the great state of Texas, and they're all free range.
Nothing more fun than coming out hunting these exotics. It's December, the weather's like 70 degrees, it's beautiful out. I don't want to hunt with this.
Frank, give me my gun back, dude. Here, this is yours.
This is a real rifle.
You hunt with the toy stuff, I hunt with the big stuff.
What this rifle really needs is cleaning. Massive cleaning.
It's black for a reason, Ray.
Oh, I see.
The Savage 110VA, and I got to build it on the Savage factory floor. Really exciting. One of them in my vault that I absolutely have a lot of confidence in. I've been able to travel all over North America, taken lots of long-range game with it, as well as took it on a tour to Africa, and it performs flawlessly. With one of my favorite triggers, the Actor trigger, it gives you a little extra safe and allows you to squeeze through. It also has a really big, very long fluted barrel, as well as a huge muzzle brake chambered in the 338 Lapua, one of my all-time favorite rounds. Extremely high BC, lots of horsepower for the long-range capability. On my gun this week is a Nikon, and it comes out of their tactical line. It's got a 30mm tube for more objective at 42 at the end, and it also goes to 5.5 to 16, so I can zoom right into my target. I've got an adjustable parallax, and it's read in minutes. So with a ballistic calculator out on my phone or through a rangefinder, I'm able to turn it right to the number and dial it out to 500 yards, which is really my effective range this week with this firearm. Yes, it's capable of 1,000, but I want to stay under 500 on these Aoudad in order to shoot them effectively. Now you're out at the gun store and you're picking a Magnum rifle, make sure that it has a lot of weight in order to handle recoil on these Magnums. I mean, this Magnum. I'm shooting this week.
Remember the name Habanero. It's going to wreak havoc on animals this week. This is a custom rifle built by Jimmy Ferguson. It's built on a Weatherby Mark V action. They've also used a Weatherby stock. Now it's chambered in 338 Weatherby Magnum. Now this rifle, they fluted the barrel, which will help stiffen that barrel and also help dissipate heat. They've added their own custom muzzle brake. I've added limb saver deresonator on it and also a cartridge carrier. And then I topped it with a Nikon BDC scope. This is a Monarch series in 4 to 16 power. This round is so fast, I'm gonna sight it dead on at 350 yards and hold in the hair out to 500. So if you hold a little too high, you're gonna shoot over. This week, a couple of the big boys. On my left, a 3378 Weatherby Magnum. It's a belted cartridge. I'm shooting 130 grain Barnes X bullet. It's leaving the muzzle at 3,996 feet a second. It only has the ballistic coefficient of 374, but when it's leaving the muzzle that fast, it gets there so quick, it really doesn't matter.
That is one awesome cartridge, one of Ray's all-time favorites. In fact, you have to believe that that gun is in the hair to 500 yards. It's extremely flat and fast and creating hydrostatic shock. One of the most aggressive cartridges that we've ever found to actually take game with. And then the other one that we really believe in is the 338 Lapua. This is something we have several guns chambered in it, and we've done a lot of extensive hunting with it. It's got a 250 grain Hornady match bullet, and the bullet coefficient is a lot higher. In fact, it's 675. And it's coming out of the muzzle velocity right at 3,006 feet a second. So again, pay attention to the BC of the bullet. It really does have a huge effect on the overall drop capacity. In fact, even though it's not a built-in Magnum, it is a really long-range 1,000-yard plus gun. Now these Aoudad have really big horns that sweep back and down. Both the ewes and the rams have horns on them, but the rams are just much bigger.
It's early in the morning. It's a little bit foggy. We parked the truck back about 3/4 of a mile, and Bill knows a place where these Aoudad come out and feed in the sun in the morning. We're gonna walk out on this ridge. We're gonna find a good place we can see this valley set up and see if we can't find us a big Aoudad ram and put that 3378 to work. I've got this thing sighted dead in at 350 yards, so anything 200, 300, 400 yards should be a pretty easy target. So let's go find us an Aoudad.
Bill and I are stalking out through the foothills, checking everything we can see, but it's pretty foggy. We had a light misty rain, and we could only see about 250 yards. And as we broke over this one ridge line, the Aoudad saw us way before we saw them, and I didn't even see the herd. There was about 8 to 10 animals that ran out of the bottom, and that spoiled that whole entire stock.
I had Bill go ahead and take Ray, and I took Jim, And we went around the ranch and got around and got down on the backside of the river bottom and into the canyons and tried to find some sheep.
Aoudad is one of those really tough, very muscular animals. It looks like a big desert animal that you would expect to be up on the high cliffs, like in Arizona and New Mexico, two other places that they actually had transplanted them. And down in the lowland Texas hill country out here, it's just a perfect habitat for them to be able to grow.
We are gonna walk as far as we can out into these open savannas. The aoudad is really what we're trying to target. So we're gonna get out here, walk around, go slow. Got perfect wind direction right now. Hopefully be able to find something perfect day.
Today we're going to be running around and running along this Johnson's Creek bottom that we've got here on the ranch, and there's a bunch of canyons and rocks, and it's a lot of good cover. The aoudad sheep, it's an African animal. Here in Texas we're allowed to hunt them year-round, and it makes an excellent game species for the off-season when everything else is done and all the deer have shed their horns, and they're just an awesome trophy.
Right on the point of a small ridge, and I can see off both sides into two different valleys. And those aoudad, when we saw them this morning, ran into a bunch of cedars down below us here about 600, 700, 800 yards. The wind's perfect, coming uphill, blowing this way. So if these aoudads are anywhere in this vicinity, they can't smell us, they're not going to hear us. They're going to have to see us, but I think we'll get them picked out with a rangefinder. We'll take one, put him in the salt.
So even after busting that first herd, I thought, you know, there's probably plenty in the area. We'll just spend some more time glassing. We're bound to find some more. Boy, was I wrong. It just seems like that first little bit of human presence, these things vanish like smoke. For the rest of the day, we never found another aoudad.
Well, it's the end of another day. No big aoudad ram. We're gonna put the guided missile away for tonight. Be back at it first thing in the morning. Aoudad 2, hunters 0. Well, when you're in Texas and you're in a canyon that you can see for 1.5 miles, you do not want the light to leave us. We're gonna head back, get some grub, wake up before daylight, and come out, enjoy Texas all over again. So we just gotta stay out of sight till we get around that knob. Try to catch them before they get back in that canyon.
Bill got me within about 200 yards, and the sheep had no clue we were around. The sun was in their eyes, totally in our favor. The wind was perfect.
We found this herd of aoudad. A couple smaller rams. There's one really big, heavy ram. They're right at 200 yards, but they're bedded. We're just gonna stand here a while and see if they'll stand up on their own. If he stands up to stretch, we're gonna pound him right here.
Finally, the sun hit just enough on this big ram, he decided it's time for him to get up and move. So he got up, and as soon as he got up, I got on him quick with the crosshairs, put the crosshairs right on his shoulder, concentrate, and make one perfect shot.
You made a good shot on him. Both of them front legs, they come up like that about 2 or 3 times before he really got out of our sight there.
Well, this thing recoils so fast when I come out of the gun. When I look, I just see him all run, and I seen him look like he was humped. Bill, I think we got us a big
I
aoudad
think
ram.
he did too. There he is right there. Yep.
Big old solid things. Guys, we're in South Texas with Headhunters International. I just took my first aoudad ram. Finally found a good one. And we got out the aoudad missile, the 3378. And we put him down, 1 shot, 1 kill.
You know, I've seen quite a few of these taken, and that one shot right there took this ram down within 20 or 30 yards. They're pretty hard to put down in that amount of time, so it was a real good shot.
I love that caliber. I'm shooting a 130 grain Barnes X bullet, pushing them out at 4,000 feet per second. Bill, thank you very much. Get him back, show him to Clint. Headhunters International. Gotta love hunting. December, South Texas, weather's beautiful.
Take aoudad and a couple other species, blackbuck antelope and fallow deer, and they got to experience some of this Texas hunting that nobody else gets to see.
Inside SCI record book, there is something called the North America Introduced. And this is a classification within the book that allows you to hunt species and get recognition for those animals here in North America that might have come from, China, Indonesia, Russia. There's all of these animals that have been introduced here, and most sportsmen do not know that this stuff exists in Texas. This year, if you want to hunt something other than whitetails or elk or black bear or mule deer, look for Texas. Look at some of these animals. These are pretty cool species. This is it. This is what we're waiting for. We're gonna do about a half-mile hump into this big flat down here. It's got a big canyon, it's got a bunch of brush in it. We've got good wind up right now, and that's gonna help muffle our sound, and we've got good wind direction. So normally this time of the day when the heat's up, we've got a lot of swirling wind, but not today. We could really pick our direction, be able to work in there, and hopefully be able to find, again, our #1 target is that aoudad. We're opportunists though. We're not picky. We'll shoot anything with good horns on it.
I love a good cyca, good whitetail buck, yeah, good fallow buck, whatever we find. So, that's just stuff out here you never know.
All right, man, you ready?
Let's do it.
We were working the top of this draw, and we were just doing some still hunting, and the wind was right in our face. And we were just getting into the danger zone, coming over the top of the ridge, and we looked down, and sure enough, we have a bunch of animals bedded in the trees.
We've got an entire herd of aoudad bedded underneath this tree right here.
If we use these trees right here, we can get down. It's going to be about a 250 yard shot.
This is going to be a great aoudad herd. Most likely there's going to be a good ram in here. One of those ewes kind of saw some movement, and she ended up standing up, and she was staring at us, but none of the other animals were keyed.
I don't know, there looks like there's 2 rams there.
One lower on the bottom right, but the big one's in the center.
We were within our effective range. All we needed to do was be patient, pick out the big ram, and wait for him to stand up. Another ewe stood up, and then another one, and then a young ram stood up. The biggest ram was right there in the middle, and we just needed him to be able to stand up.
See him? He's got his head facing directly away from us.
I got him.
He's up.
Okay, I got him. And then all of a sudden he turns, and he comes back into view, and he starts to stand broadside, and I grab that trigger, and I start to just squeeze through it. All right, here we go. Take it.
Roll down, Jimmy.
He's down, guys. We have finally put the lapua to work right there. 250 grains. Was perfect for aoudad because they're extremely tough sheep, no doubt about it.
It worked well.
Let's go. I cannot wait to get a close-up, put my hands on that thing. I'm telling you, it's been a while waiting for this opportunity.
We've been looking.
Thank you very much, man.
Absolutely, man.
I'm
Absolutely.
excited. That lapua right there worked really well. What used to be a traditional hunting gun is no longer a traditional hunting gun. High tech is all over the hunting industry. And really, what is the real difference? If you love it and you enjoy what you're doing, so be it. Grab something out of the ordinary, out of your vault. That's what Choose Your Weapon is all about. It's about choice. It's about defending our Second Amendment right and hunting animals that we may have never even seen or laid eyes on before, like this for me today. If this aoudad didn't exist in Texas, I would have got to spend time with it. And that would have been a sad thing, but big aoudad with a great friend. Thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate being out here. And headhunters, Clint, the biggest predator I know, hunt species that may not be typical, but they're extraordinary, and it's going to be a great animal on my wall, and for people to come into my trophy room and be able to see that, and I get to tell a story and the biology and how it all went down in the great state of Texas.